Hey guys, hey early birds, we're on here just a moment early. For those of you who don't know, Google Hangouts has about a 30-second delay, which is always fun when you have live chat on a Google Hangout, because then you're, okay, Joe just asked. No, I didn't. I asked that like a minute ago. But that said, so it might not be as early as it is for us. We're about a minute and a half early, but we'll be about a minute early for the rest of you. But we're on here, just going to make sure this this sucker is working, and it looks like it is because I just heard myself talking 30 seconds ago. So awesome. Well, welcome everyone to this this awesome launch party with Ray. We got the amazing. I can't come up with enough superlatives, and I'm not the skilled copywriter that you are, Ray, but the amazing Ray Edwards, author of the forthcoming book, although he does have a real copy, How to Write Copy That Sells, because we like to make money. Ray, welcome.
Thank you. I can come up with some superlatives for you. Amazing, okay. Astonishing, talented, good looking.
Hang on. Slow down. It's filling the screen.
Thanks, Matt. This is it's going to be a lot of fun. This is the first one of these I've done.
Yeah. Well, this is the first one I've ever done where I've actually got one of our clients on, the talent, the brains behind all of this, on to discuss their product. So that's kind of exciting. So just to give everybody a quick kind of a quick overview, neither one of us are wearing party hats, so it's not like that kind of party. It's just it's a quick celebration to celebrate the fact that Ray has this amazing book coming out. But also we're going to do some training, and how that's going to work is totally casual. If you've ever been to one of mine before, we're not doing any slides, no PowerPoint, no keynote, none of that fun stuff. It's just Ray and I talking about best practices, strategies, tips, tactics, tricks. Oh, see what I did there with the alliteration, Ray? I learned that from you.
Good work.
So putting this to good use. But this is, we're going to talk about the book a little bit, just, how it came to be, what it's about. And I will say, before we get too started or too into this, if you have not read the book, I've sent it to you at least twice. If you're an affiliate of Ray's and were for the last launch. If you're new, you've only had it once. But if you have not read it and can't find that email me and I will send you a copy of the book, because we want you to read this. We want this in your hands so that you can see how awesome it is, and then talk about how awesome it is, preferably in the form of 3 to 5 emails, and some tweets and some Facebook posts and some Pinterest and Instagram and all that fun stuff. So, Ray, let's take a moment and tell us about the book. Tell us how it came to be and what it's all about.
Sure. First, I want to say thank you for being part of this promotion, and just rest assured that I see everybody's name. I totally appreciate the fact that you are bombarded with requests to promote stuff, and it's not lost on me that it's a big deal for you to agree to promote. And I really appreciate it, because I know it's a big decision for me to promote somebody else, because you've only got so many promotions you can do. So I just want to, first of all, say thank you. And I notice, and I know your name, and you have my gratitude, and I do not forget. So that being said, for those of you who don't know me, I'm sure Matt has promoted the heck out of me already, so I won't spend too much time on that. But I have had the privilege, I've been very, very blessed to write copy and help create marketing campaigns for people like Tony Robbins and Jack Canfield and Jeff Walker, who you may remember, he had a book launch not too long ago about a book called Launch. And I was part of that launch, and I promoted and did really well. And so this book is about what the title says. It's about how to write copy that sells. All of us, regardless of what business you're in, you have something to sell. It's a product, it's downloadable, it's physical, or it's a workshop, or it's coaching or consulting or speaking, or maybe it's your book. But regardless, you have to be able to articulate in language that persuades people. It would be better for them to have your thing, whatever your thing is, than it would be for them to have their money. And so that's what this book is about. It's about how to communicate that message that I've got something so valuable that you want to swap your money for it, and you'll feel like you won. And so that's what I teach you how to do in this book. And this book really came out of two major purposes. One was I wrote a book about 7 years ago that's a little out of date. And a lot of it is still good, but a lot of it, well, for instance, one section talks about the revolution of video online. It's not quite a revolution anymore. It's still super important, and we're coming into live video now, and that's a whole new game. But the point is, it needed some updating. And also, I have made a lot of new distinctions with some of the folks that I've been privileged to get to know and work with over the last few years, over the last couple of years, people like Amy Porterfield and Michael Hyatt and Stu McLaren and Dan Miller. And I've just got a whole new paradigm of writing copy in a way that is non-confrontational. It's not icky, it's not sleazy or salesy, and it really takes the concern of taking care of the client first. And I wanted to put that into a format for people who can't afford to have me write for them, because my fee is $150,000. And yes, I do actually get paid $150,000. I had somebody write me a check not long ago for just that exact amount. And when I say not long ago, I mean within the last month. So I'm not blowing smoke, and I'm not bragging. Well, maybe I'm bragging a little bit, but I want you to know that this is real. And I also recognize that not everybody's in a position to do that. Not everybody's in a position to come to a $5,000 or $10,000 workshop. So I wanted something for $15 that people could use to write better copy. And every one of the chapters in this book, if you haven't had a chance to look at it, ends with a checklist that you could literally, I want you to read the whole book because I wrote it, but you could just take the checklist at the end of every chapter and use that to write better copy. And so this book will help you. It'll help your clients. It'll help your readers. And that's why I wrote the book.
Well, I can say that it's helped me. Ray, I did want to share a quick story with you. I've been through a lot of your stuff. Like I attended at least 3 of your free webinars over the course of like 2.5 years when I first discovered you, like man discovered fire. When I first discovered you about 2.5-3 years ago I think it was through Michael Hyatt, and might have been through Amy Porterfield. It's one of the two. And I attended a few of your webinars. And then as we got to know each other, I've been through probably about half of Copywriting Academy. And truth be told, when I grabbed the book, because you gave me a copy, of course, and I didn't really expect to get anything out of it because, I have gone through a good portion of Copywriting Academy and followed you for a while. I was thinking in my mind, this is more for people who don't know Ray and have never studied him. And I think it's like anything. I think it's like, I don't know how much you listen to Zig Ziglar, but I still listen. Like I've memorized half of his stories, and yet I still pick up on something. I just picked up on something this morning listening to Zig. And there was something in the book, won't get into the whole story, but long story short, and I wish I could take a moment and log into MailChimp and show a screenshot, but my average click-through rate going back 6 months is 6.8%. I have literally never hit double digits on click-through rate to my entire list. To segments, I've hit double digits. About 3 emails ago, my click-through rate was 11.3%, and it was because of a little trick that I took from the book. So I just want to say it works, and I say that not just to you guys who are going to be, hopefully, you read the book and apply some of the stuff to this launch. I mean, how cool would that be? It's like you take the tricks and then P.S. I'm using some of Ray's tactics in this email. That's how good it is. Like if you got this far, that's a great P.S. But I say that to say that you can be proud of this book and know that your audience is going to get some awesome stuff out of it.
And as I was saying to the redhead, that's what happens when you go from being a wandering generality to a meanable specific.
That was Ray's Zig Ziglar impersonation. Which when you just like, if I had to just listen to him, I might have thought that was a good one. I'm joking.
I need practice.
Your voice is too deep.
I love Zig. I love Zig.
Oh, he's awesome. So let's talk. Let's talk. First of all, who is this book for? Like, let's maybe talk audience a little bit just for a moment.
Well, it's only for a very limited number of people. It's for anybody who has a product that they want to sell, a service that they want to sell, a business that they want to promote, an idea that they want to promote, a belief system that they want to promote. Anybody who wants to persuade someone to adopt an idea, to spend money, to make a decision in favor of the proposition that you're putting in front of them. Only if you want to do any of those things should you get this book.
So it's for entrepreneurs, salespeople, people who work for other people,
entrepreneurs, speakers, authors, coaches,
marketing
people who have products that they're selling online.
Shorter question probably been, who's this not for? Monks. It's not for monks.
Oh, seriously? It's not for people with an employee mentality.
Okay.
It's not for people who just want to collect a paycheck. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not joking. I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Most of us on this hangout are entrepreneurs, and our audience are entrepreneurs or entrepreneurial employees. And so for those who feel like they want to have more control over their destiny and sell more of their products, more of their services, want to increase their income, and we all laugh because we say, well, who's that not? Well, look around you. You know who it's not. It's the guy who stamps your stuff at the UPS store. So it's for entrepreneurs or entrepreneurial minded people.
Unless that guy who stamps your stuff at the UPS store also happens to have a little side business that he's just started.
That's true.
And then he definitely needs this book. So
I should never make an assumption.
So let's take a moment. Let's talk about the calendar. And I'll start us off with this Thursday, the 18th, is when the free book offer begins. Tell us a little bit more about what's happening after that and what you have going on.
Well, for those, I'm assuming that most of you know how these things work, but just in case, this is how we're doing it. We are giving the book away for free. And this is the beauty of the thing. All you have to do, really, it comes down to, you just offer a free book to your readers and your subscribers and your customers. And it really is free. We're asking that they help us out with $7 for shipping and handling. And the question comes up, is it really free, or is he making a killing on the shipping and handling? And the answer to that is no. I was a little skeptical of these offers in the past, but as I began to put one together, I realized, man, not only am I not making a killing on the shipping and handling, I'm taking a bath on the shipping and handling. So, but that's okay, because this is designed to put something of supreme value into the hands of your customers that make them happy because they got it from you for free. And then, so when they put in the $7 shipping and handling fee, we ship them the book, the physical book, and they also get an added bonus. They get an online membership where they get access to something called the Copywriting Quick Start course. So that comes with the book. So that's kind of a surprise sort of, oh, wow, not only did I get a book, I got this too. Mm-hmm. But right after they see the offer and they say yes to the offer, we offer them an upsell. And it's very low key. It's very much tied to the book itself. It's about email copy. In fact, it's an offer for 5 email campaigns that I'm just giving them to cut and paste. And you guys might be interested in those 5 campaigns. And if you are, you may have it as my partners in this. I'm happy to supply those to you at no charge, of course. So just let Matt know. We won't presume that you want it, but let Matt know and he'll get you all set up. And so you get a commission, not on the $7 because that's actual hard cost to us, but you do get a commission on the upsell. So you get 40% of the $200. And, but here's what I think is super cool. Every one of your leads that come to this offer get tagged for the big launch of Copywriting Academy that we're doing in April. So if you think about it, this is a way for you to promote a high ticket course and get high ticket commissions. And all you have to do is offer your people a free book. That makes you look like the coolest person on earth.
So here's a question that I know the answer to, but I'm going to have you explain it. So what happens if they, well, let me back up. I kind of look at this as it's like an opt-in. I mean, is really what it is. It's no different than if Ray had just an ebook and he's offering, just to put it in that perspective, this isn't different in the mechanics of it for all intents and purposes. You drive traffic to the pre-launch content, which is the book, and then you make money when Ray sells them stuff. And side note, Ray is really good at selling people stuff. So that's the cool thing about working with Ray, just not to brag on you too much for fear of,
well, go ahead.
But, the cool thing about working with Ray is that you don't have to do as much selling on your end. Certainly Ray is better at taking warm leads than cold leads. And, so say nice things about him in your email, say nice things about the book, but I just wanted to point that out. So basically it's like an opt-in, but what happens if somebody comes to the free book offer they, they put in their name and email, but choose not to buy? What's going to happen with that person?
Two things happen. First of all, we follow up with them to ask them gently to reconsider and see if we can get them to go ahead and take the offer. But even if they don't, we keep them in a protected follow-up sequence for the big launch. So they're going to see the book offer again. They're going to see if they take the book offer, then they'll see the upsell offer, and they definitely will see the Copywriting Academy offer, which is, a lot more expensive, but also a lot more compelling than just the book offer. So I think we've got a winning combo here. I've seen other people do a book offer with an upsell. I've not really seen anybody tie this closely together. This is really one continuous, seamless operation from the free book to the offer of the Copywriting Academy course. But from the outside, it just looks like, hey, I got a free book. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's perfect timing. The book ships, is it March 1st or 2nd, right? I actually forget.
It's the 28th of February.
Okay, so the 28th, they'll get the book. If they're anything like me, and this is a book that they're super interested in, they're probably going to either finish the current book they're on or drop the other book and start on it. A good chunk of the people are going to dive into it. And so they're going to be halfway through, 2/3 of the way through, maybe finished with this book mid to late March. And they're probably going to make the mental decision that this is either not for them. Like, okay, well, I wasted $7. I think I'll live.
Nobody will.
Or, oh my goodness, this is revolutionary. I just got an 11.3% click-through rate on MailChimp. I want to take this to the next level. Oh, and conveniently, we have an opportunity for them to take it to the next level and make a bigger investment. So I love that. I do want to point out, just a side note, you mentioned, they're cookied. We have a lifetime tracking. And if you hear my daughter in the background, hi, everything's lifetime. Now, we don't only track we use Infusionsoft, as most of you know. It's not just tracked by cookie, so it's tracked by email, it's tracked by IP. We basically have every tracking in place that we possibly can, but it's lifetime. So in theory, they could buy the book today or even just opt in today, and 2, 3, 4 launches from now of Copywriting Academy, you'll get a check, or a PayPal deposit for whatever from that one person, and hopefully you're getting lots of those as we go on, but you'll just get this random PayPal deposit for $500 one day. That's because you gave them this free book offer 3 years ago. So assuming they haven't changed their email, their last name, and, their all those things, they're going to be tracked to you, which is really cool. So the free book offer starts on the 18th. It ends on March 1st. So that's going to be an important day. The first day and the last day are going to be the two most important days, guys. But in the middle, Ray, I know we have a webinar on the 23rd. You're doing a live blab, but I forget the day on that. What day is that?
Oh, you would ask me that.
I would.
I don't know.
It's at some point, and we'll let you know.
It's on our calendar.
It's on the calendar that neither of us have pulled up right now.
Because, let's be transparent. When you're doing Google Hangouts, you shut down everything on your computer.
Exactly.
So that all the memory and bandwidth is available for Google.
The only thing I have open, and it's a perfect segue into, if you have any questions, the best way to send those questions, I actually just got one from Annie Alexander, is to tweet me at Matt McWilliams2. Don't forget the 2 or you get an egg. And I don't like that guy. Whoever at Matt, he stole my username. I had it for years and then got off Twitter, and now he has it. And anyway, it's a whole different story.
What's up with that?
But at Matt McWilliams2, and Annie asked a question for Ray. She actually did an interview with you. And This is a good question in case, let's talk about that. If Ray can't do every interview, but if you do want to interview Ray, reach out to me, matt@rayedwards.com, and we'll see what we can do. But she asked, I have our interview with Ray on air on the 18th. So it's on the book launch day. What are some of the best ways to leverage that?
Well, clearly you want to pepper the posting with the interview. You want to pepper that with your affiliate link. So some kind of a short link on your site or just a hyperlink. You know, if it's the long link and it's just hyperlinked text, then nobody sees it, of course. So it doesn't matter. You want to email? Definitely. Look, I've promoted a lot of stuff as an affiliate, and I have a smaller list than most of the quote big dogs, but I do better than most of them. And the reason is I know how to write copy that sells. And also because I mean, there's just certain best practices that I've adopted. And, you know, we say it jokingly, we say mail early and mail often, but that really is the biggest secret. And like, Matt and I both promoted a product for Michael Hyatt, and we both did really well. And the reason we ranked so high, and it was kind of a friendly competition between the two of us, it was mostly.
Don't remind me.
But the reason we ranked so high, even though we were looking around us, it was like, wow, we're up here with some of these people with gigantic lists and huge name recognition. And it's because we mailed more often than they did. So best practices, mail early. So right at the beginning, mail right in the middle, mail for the webinar on the 23rd, and the blab, whenever that is. And then mail at the end. And then if you're only going to mail on 3 days, beginning, middle, and end, but at the end, I'm telling you, just grit your teeth and mail 3 or 4 times on that last day. I did it. You've done it, Matt. And yeah. What is the difference that it's made for you?
You know, I actually have, this would require me to open something that might steal my bandwidth though. I don't want to quote exact numbers, but when I was with Jeff Goins' last launch, Tribe Riders in November,
Jeff Goins.
I sent out an email, and yeah, I mean, side note, Ray had the smallest list of anybody in the top 5 in that launch, and then most recently in another launch, Ray had the smallest list of anybody in the top 7. So goes to show you what Ray's talking about, and I think you finished 2nd and 3rd, or 3rd and 2nd. In those 2. So anyway, that said, you know, and I sent out an email, and the subject line was why you should mail 4 times tomorrow. This was sent on the day before deadline day. And the premise of the email was I've actually done some, I'm a guinea pig. So I just split test a bunch of stuff. I see what happens, and then I share the results, and the objective is to help you guys learn from sometimes my mistakes. Like that subject line could have very well have been why not to mail 4 times in the last day if that had backfired. And anyway, the point of it was when I basically had one group that got mailed, I knew that it was not to mail 1 time. It was either 2, 3, or 4 because I had already tested 1 versus 2. And here's what I will share. I saw no difference in opt-out rates for the day as a whole with 1 and 2. So that said, I mailed 4 times versus 2 and 3. And what I knew would happen is I would probably make more money. But there's a point at which making more money in the short term is not worth it to you long term. Like very hypothetically, you have 10,000 people on your list. Let's say you make an extra $400 on the launch by sending an extra 2 emails. Not really worth it if you have an extra 400 opt-outs as a weird example. So we tested it, 2, 3, and 4 emails in the last day. And I'm not necessarily saying for this one, you have to send 2, 3, or 4 times. I'm just sharing my numbers. My EPC, my earnings per click, was actually higher on the 4 emails, which is totally illogical because I got more clicks. It doesn't make any sense. I just assumed I would make more money, but my EPC would be lower. I had my hypothesis, and my hypothesis told me that 3 was actually going to be the magic number because that's what Schoolhouse Rocks told me growing up. 3 is sorry. Anyway, I love the Blind Melon cover of that song. Totally different subject though. Anyway, I thought 3 would be the magic number. It was actually 4. Not only did I make the most amount of money, I had no noticeable, I think I had like a 0.02% increase in opt-outs. It was like 4 people.
What I think you'll find, and obviously this is self-serving because we're doing a launch and we want you to mail a bunch of times.
100.
But even if you don't mail a single time for this promotion, I'm asking you take this advice and apply it to whatever the next thing is you do mail for. Yeah. Because it will work for you. And I actually got I actually got more than one email from people saying, I really enjoyed all the emails you've been sending.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just amazing to me. And what I think happens is there's two distinctions I would make that I would say are really important to you with this promotion or with any promotion that you do. Number one, give people a link to opt out of messages about this specific thing, so they don't opt out of your list. At the bottom of every email, say something like, don't want to hear about this book anymore? Click here.
Yep.
Opt them out and suppress them from your next mailing. It's not that hard to do depending on what system you have. There's a different way to do it, but it's not that tough to do. And then secondly, you'll be sending only to people who've decided, okay, I'll keep receiving the emails. And just like we've experienced, you'll have people who will email you and say, I really enjoyed that whole process of seeing all those emails you sent. And as long as you keep them conversational and fun, and they will be, because I'm writing them for you.
Yeah, that is a fun email to get because I know we've all gotten the email. We've all had this. If you had any number of times, it's like, stop emailing me so much. And my sarcastic response, I got this from Derek Halpern, is, sure, I'll click the unsubscribe button for you. But yeah, it actually, I noticed that with that promotion we talked about with Best Year Ever, is I wrote very in a conversational kind of, I just told a lot of stories, like, here's my experience. And I had numerous emails, back that just said, hey, thanks for sharing. Like, I'm basically like, I'm not tired of these. Send me more if you want, and even if they didn't buy. And the reality is, for all of us, most people aren't going to buy. Most people aren't going to take advantage of the free book offer. Most people aren't going to buy Copywriting Academy. But as long as you're offering value, I mean, can you offer too much value? I mean, I suppose if you emailed 8 times, 7 days a week, that would get overkill. But yeah.
That being said, in most cases, when you're promoting something, some affiliate thing, you get a certain level of opt-in. Like, you send people to the offer, to the opt-in page, and you get, I don't know what is your experience, but maybe you get 10% opt-in rates. With this, we're getting much better rates than that. So it's a 2-step process. You put in your name and your email address first, and your shipping address to get your free book. And then you click a button and it takes you to where you put in your credit card information to pay the $7 shipping. So I'd have to look this morning to see exactly what the numbers are. But the last time I looked, we were getting something like 45% opt-in rate and about a 30% take rate on the $7 offer. So 30% is super fantastic.
Now, I want a clarifying question there, right? Is that 30% of 100 or 30% of 45?
No, that's 30% of 100. So
that's awesome.
The 45% opt-in rate means 15% of the people who came and put their email address in decided for some reason or other, well, I'm not going to put my credit card in and pay the $7.
Good.
And so those people were following up with to encourage them to go ahead and follow through. Maybe they didn't have their credit card with them. Maybe they didn't pay attention to the video. There's 100 things that could be an explanation why they didn't take the offer. We just know if we email them again, many of them will. So that's work we're doing for you. All you really have to do is say, hey, you want a free book? It's great. It'll help you sell more stuff. Here it is. It only lasts a limited time. Get your copy while you can. That's what it comes down to.
Nice. So Ray, I want to talk real quick about some other best strategies we are, best practices. And I specifically want, you've been involved with 2 book launches where you were an affiliate partner that I know of. And if there's any others, please tell me. One of those is the aforementioned launch from Jeff Walker. And the other one, I can't reach mine. I can see it though. But the Jeff Walker's launch, and then the other one was one that that we actually ran, which was Jeff Goins, The Art of Work. Tell us what you learned, or what you did, what worked, what didn't work, so that we can learn from you.
Here's the best thing you can do, and this is true for anything that you're promoting. If you can tell a personal story about whatever you're promoting, whether it's the book that you read and the impact that it had on you, or the product that you bought and it worked for you. Like, our number 1 affiliate in the Copywriting Academy launch was John Lee Dumas. And John Lee Dumas, here's one of the reasons he did so well is because he has a gigantic list. Let's be honest. But his conversion rate was super high. And that's because he actually took the subject line document that is part of our course, where I have all my best subject lines ranked by open rate. And he just started using those subject lines, and he talked nonstop about that when he was promoting the course. And so if you take the book, if you haven't read the book yet, just take the PDF that you got from Matt. And if you don't have it for some reason, just ask him, he'll send it to you, and go to one of the checklists and use one of our headline templates or email subject line approaches or something like that. So you can tell your list a story and say, hey, you know, I usually get a 3% open rate on my emails. I use this subject line and suddenly I got an 11%. So if you can tell a personal story with real impact, numbers, facts that you can back up, people are really affected by that.
You just gave me the subject line of the email I'm going to send about this, Ray. How I doubled my click-through rate.
There you go. No charge.
Yeah. Thanks. No, that's awesome. So what, let's maybe when you were promoting, you know, the Jeff's books, what did you do that maybe, you know, you tried something and it didn't work, or you thought it would work, but it didn't? Is anything like that just ended up being a not so good idea?
I don't know that there was, I'm not going to say which one, but in one case I should have mailed more. And you know which one.
So you just gave that one away?
I should have mailed more. So, and obviously again, that's self-serving because we're here talking about my book launch, but take this to anything else that you do. Just, you probably need to mail more often than you think you do. Mm-hmm. And then secondly, there was no big egregious mistake that I made, but the thing that I did notice was anytime I took, there were a few times that even I, the copywriter, would be in such a hurry. I would take the swipe email and just send it without any alteration. Now, part of that was because you're such a good writer, and you supplied some great swipe copy, so that was cool. But most of the time, I will take the swipe copy, and at the very least, I will add my own twist to it. I'll add my own opening, my own story. So the fact is, here's what happens. Whether we like to admit it or not, we write a 5-paragraph email. People read the subject line, the first paragraph, and they click the link. That's usually what's happening. So if you can customize that first sentence and that last sentence, then you got a winner, most likely. So the more you customize it and the more personal stories you can tell about how you were affected by the book or by the teaching or by the training or whatever it is you're promoting, I have more success when I do that. I wrote some super long emails about Hyatt's Best Year Ever course. And most people will tell you, don't write super long emails, just write really short with a link. But the emails that did best for me were the long ones.
Did you test that by chance?
Yes, I did.
I was split testing the same thing in that launch. I was in a mastermind in Atlanta, and we talked about that. We actually had about a 45-minute discussion about that topic, you know, the short versus the long. And I said, guys, I'm actually split testing that with Michael's launch. I'm, you know, basically short copy versus long copy, because my copy used to be, and it still sometimes is if it's a deadline. So we're not talking about like, you have 2 hours left to buy this link. That's not the time to, you know, to tell a 20-minute story.
Right.
But overall, I took my list and segmented them into 2 groups. One group got my traditional email, which is basically like, you know, quick sentence, link, 3 more sentences, link, signature, PS, link. And the other one got what would amount to that long of an email. Throughout the whole launch, that one won, and it was by thousands of dollars.
So that's interesting, because I had the same experience, and I kind of stole something from Gary Vee, from the title of his book, which I never finished reading. No offense, Gary, but the book is like punch, jab, jab, or
jab, 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 right hook. Another one that's right there.
Yeah. So I have this kind of pattern that I follow. If you go back and look at my affiliate emails, punch is the long email, and the jab is the short email. So I'll do a long email and 2 short ones. And usually it's long email, medium, and super short, then long email. So it's punch, jab, jab, punch. And I have found that to be very effective, because what happens, I think, is I write the big email and it has an effect as a story. And then the shorter emails that follow it up are just reminders. Like they're like pokes saying,
Yep.
hey, remember the email I wrote to you? And then you said it, when you get to the deadlines, that's the time to send the short email saying, look, you've only got 2 hours to do this. Here's the link.
Yeah. And that's the two sentence email basically. So real quick, I'm going to share, Ray, and I'd love to hear how you did, because I get asked this a lot, like, how do I use swipe copy? And you kind of touched on that a little bit, which is swipe copy. Sure, if you're in a hurry, I mean, we've all done this. Like, oh, I know I need to send another email, and especially a deadline would probably be a good time where you could legitimately just copy, paste, boom. Couple best practices. One is the actual links. Let's be honest, the Infusionsoft links, the hw112.is refer, I fell asleep halfway through. They're not pretty, but there is a plugin called Pretty Links. If you use WordPress, I'm sure we're all familiar with that. Take the extra 20 seconds. This is not something I've ever split tested. I am going to assume that the ugly link versus the pretty link's going to win over time. And, so have mattmcwilliams.com / copy or something like that, make a pretty link. Secondly, how I personally use swipe copy is, and I do use it probably 3 out of 4 times. There are times where I don't even need to look at it. But when I do it, I go copy it and I paste it, and then I just space down a couple spots, and I somehow get in this frame of mind of what's a personal story that relates to this. And so with this book, for instance, it would be super easy how I doubled my click-through rate. And I mean, that would be a super easy way to work into it. But sometimes it's a stretch. And I mean, like, I can't remember what it was, but I was talking about networking. I was promoting a book about networking for a friend of mine. And I told the story about New Year's Eve, 2003, and I'm in line at Kmart. I believe it or not, there were still Kmarts back then. And ironically, I just thought about this, but I was buying hair dye. I dyed my hair blonde for New Year's for some weird reason. I know, don't judge me. And the lady, she looked at me and she said, "Hey, Happy New Year's." And I said, I forget her name. I said, "You too, Catherine." And she's like, "I almost didn't recognize you." And I go, "That's because we've never met before. I was just using the name on your name tag." And I walked off, and I realized the power of a name. So I told that story and worked it into that book. Sometimes it's a far stretch, but that's how I use it. And then I keep that swipe copy down there as like a guide. It's just there. And then occasionally I'll copy a paragraph and use it exactly as it is. But that's how I use it. How do you use swipe files up? Assuming you're not just copying and pasting,
I do the same sort of thing that you just described. I'll use it as a guide, especially when it's swipe copy from somebody I know knows how to write copy. So like if it's your copy, then I know that it's the framework is a good framework. I want to personalize it and make it my own. If it's Jeff Walker's copy, I want to do the same thing. Sometimes I promote for people who are not great copywriters, but they have great products. So I just throw their swipe copy away and I write my own. This will not be the case in this one.
No pressure, but you have to have killer swipe copy.
Yes. I got you. So I'm a fan of making a shocking statement in my subject line and then tying it to the swipe copy, even if you're going to use the swipe copy almost word for word. So here's an example. Let's say we send you a 5-paragraph piece of swipe copy for the launch, and you want to do something original. You don't want to send the same subject line and the same first paragraph as everybody else. So you might say, the power of a name, F name. And so that's the code for Aweber that inserts the personalized name. So the power of a name, Ray. And then the first paragraph might say, "I'll get back to the power of a name in just a moment. But first, let me tell you about something you need to grab real quick." And then boom, you're into the swipe copy about getting the free book. And then at the end, you come back and say, so the power of a name is, if you notice, you opened this email and you read all the way to the end because your name was in the subject line. Now, you might say to me, "Well, Ray, that doesn't always work because they didn't read all the way." Well, if they didn't read all the way, they don't know it didn't work because they didn't read that paragraph. And you might say, "Well, it didn't work because sometimes it doesn't have their name. It just says friend." Okay, so sometimes it's going to misfire, but 8 times out of 10, it will work. So I like to find a way to put a hook in the subject line and then create a link to that hook. If somebody reads a subject line and they read the first line of your email and it has nothing to do with the subject line, they don't like that. That makes them feel like you tricked them.
Yeah.
So
I've noticed that.
All you got to do is say, like your subject line could be the story of the monkey and the dog. And then the first line of the email could be, I'll get to the monkey and the dog and the disturbing commercial I saw during the Super Bowl in just a minute. But first, let me tell you about a book you should pick up. And then you tell the story about the book. And then at the end of the email, you say, I don't know if you saw the puppy, monkey, baby dog thing during the Super Bowl, but that was the creepiest commercial I've ever seen in my life.
Can you say that 10 times fast by chance?
No, I cannot.
Puppy, monkey, baby dog. Yeah.
You did see.
Oh boy. So in a moment here, we're going to take a quick tour of the affiliate center, the partner center, but I did want to answer Jackie's question here. Hi, Jackie. Once folks on our list buy, is it still a good practice to invite them to the webinar, the blab, etc.?
Yeah, because I am going to deliver value on top of value on top of value. Because what I want to do for your people is I want to load them up with so much value, especially after they've invested in the book, that they feel like by the time the end of March rolls around, they feel like, wow, I spent $7 or $207, and I feel like I got $5,000 worth of value out of that. Because that's how we tee them up to want to buy the academy and put hundreds of dollars in your pocket for every one of those purchases.
Yeah. And I would go back to what I said, Jackie. I don't know if you were on at the beginning, but I've been through numerous Ray Edwards webinars and been through most of Copywriting Academy, and I still got value out of the book. So I think the reverse would be true. And not to mention, they're not going to get the book until it ships on the 28th. I mean, if they live, Morgan James, where is that? Virginia? If they live in Virginia, they might get it on March 1st, but otherwise it's probably going to be a couple of days or a few days. So let's get them some stuff that gets them, prime the pump. Like if they watch one of Ray's webinars, even if they've already purchased the book, they're just going to be that much more excited to get the book in their hands.
And by the way, I want to let you know that you may be wondering, well, what about that? What about the delay from the time they purchase and they get the book? Are they going to get frustrated? Well, we've got a follow-up sequence that we're sending them, letting them know, keeping them up to date. Well, we've had massive demand. The printing presses are running. We're getting the books packaged up and lovingly labeled and making sure they're in perfect condition and the cover's not bent. And we've got this whole sequence that we're sending them to keep them engaged and keep them happy while they're waiting for their book. So you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. And the cool thing I will say about the webinars also is when they get them, they whet their appetite even more, they get them more excited. And the blab would be the same thing is when, I don't know about you guys, but like when I hear a podcast interview with somebody and they strike a chord and then I buy their book, or sometimes I buy somebody's book because it's a referral, and then I hear them on a podcast interview, or I hear, I get an email about them or whatever. Like I said earlier, I drop everything to then read that book. And so that's the mindset we want them in, not just in the short term, because we want people to read the book. Like Ray said, it's not really that of value to him personally if they buy the book and don't read it, because he technically loses a little bit of money on that purchase. It's of more value if they read the book quickly and go, wow, what next? And that's of more value to you as an affiliate partner, because then you'll sell Copywriting Academy. And so we want them in that mindset, like that same mindset that, I was in. Ray, I don't know if I've ever even told you this, but I remember, oh man, we'll just say last May, I think it was, and you had teased Copywriting Academy on your podcast. And I told my wife, Tara, and hopefully she remembers this, I said, I don't know when Ray's copywriting course is coming out, but like, unless it's just some astronomical amount of money, and it's not, if it was like $10,000, we'd have to think about it. I said, I don't know when it's coming out, but I'm keeping an eye on it. And when it does, I'm buying it, because I want to learn this. And so when you asked us when we started working together, you lost a customer, but hopefully you gained so much more.
Just true, I did.
But that's the attitude we want them in. So, let's go. Ray, if you're cool with it, I'm going to take them through a quick tour of this affiliate center here.
Let's do it.
All right, let's share my screen. Get to see that continuous thing. Yeah. So I'm logged in to a test account here. a test account that amazingly, since the book has not launched yet, has no clicks, no opt-ins, no commissions, no refunds, no net commissions, no opt-ins, customers, or clawbacks.
Man, talk to this guy.
Yeah, this guy is doing terrible. Plus, he's driven no traffic because the link is only a test link. But anyway, so this is the homepage of the WCTS part, the writing copy that sells. You'll actually get here another way by clicking another link. But anyway, your stats are on this homepage. This is just a little welcome email. As Ray mentioned, do want to just highlight that. We put it in bold, all caps, and slightly bigger font for a reason. That this is bigger than just the book. They're going to be cookied for the Copywriting Academy launch. Your My Links page is exactly what you would think it is. It's your links. You just click in there and Control A, Control C, or whatever you do on a. Can you translate for me? Can you translate into Mac code, Ray?
Yeah, that would be Command A.
This is the promo calendar that does not have the blab, because I haven't put it on there yet. So we need to do that, as we joked about earlier. And then a little bit about the book here, as you guys can see. And here you go. Click here to download a copy of the book. Now, I should say, you're probably wondering, hey, Matt, how do I log in? It's a valid question. Later today, I'm sending out the logins. We're actually syncing the system up with Infusionsoft today and testing all the logins, because there's always a couple that don't sync up right. To this day, nobody understands why. And Infusionsoft is just like that. They like to have like 2% of things not sync up. And so we're going to sync those up, test them all out, and then we'll send out the logins a little bit later today. But this is where also you'll be able to grab a copy of the book. Just click that link there and you can download the PDF. Got some marketing tips and tools here, some of the stuff that we've even talked about today. We're going to post this replay here if you guys want to watch it again. And we've got the anatomy of a good marketing plan. If you've been through one of these, been through any of our launches, there is no difference, to be honest with you. It's the exact same anatomy of a good marketing plan. You guys can check that out there and get that. We've got our mailing plans. I do want to talk about this real quick. I should say 5 different plans. I need to update that. Just notice that. Basically, if you click right here, you can drop down and it's got the suggested times to send the emails. I'm actually going to go in and update this because we want to update about the webinar as well. But basically, you've got the times. If you can mail 5 times, then here are the 5 times, the best times to mail. If you can mail more and you really do want to, then just email me and I'll help you find some other. Again, it's all about optimization. If you can only mail 3 times, like that's it, these are probably going to be your best times here. So swipe copy, I got that here. Same kind of thing. Just click, let's say, it's February 28th and you want to send an email. This is going to be your best email. And so just click there and it drops right down. Got some graphics here, book, copy of the book. These are huge images of Ray, particularly like this one. Where is that, by the way, Ray?
That's in a coffee shop here in Spokane called Atticus, which is named after the character from To Kill a Mockingbird.
I haven't read that book in a long time. And then FAQ, I won't go through that, but actually I will touch on one thing, and that is, where was it here? Oh, because we get this question quite a bit, if you do have anybody that emails you, and especially with a book launch, the reality is, and Ray, I hesitate to say this, but the reality is somebody's not going to get the book. With thousands and thousands of people, something's going to happen. A book's going to get lost in the mail or something. I mean, is that a fair assumption that at least one person's going to have that happen to them?
Yeah,
we hope not.
Service's fault.
So support@rayedwards.com is the best place to direct people. Just wanted to make sure we touched on that. And then, as you guys know, we always love the live leaderboards. We'll start updating that on February 22nd. And you guys know we update that throughout the day. So that is just a quick tour of the Affiliate Center. A little bit simpler than what we typically do for a more of a full launch versus a book launch. But everything you need will be in there. We've already got all the swipe copy loaded, all the dates except the blab. all your links except the blab, and blab blab blab. So, yeah, that's that. Ray, any parting tips, lessons, words of wisdom from you?
Well, just again, I would like to thank you for participating. And like I said at the beginning, I mean, this is not an impersonal thing to me. It's a big deal that you would take time to and show the trust to send a message to your list, to your tribe about what we're doing. And I take that trust very seriously. I will take good care of your people, and I will take good care of you. I remember the people who promote for me, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to be a big dog, with 100,000 people on your list. I know the people who have 1,000 people on their list and they mailed for me. It's just as meaningful to me. So I just really appreciate that. And if nothing else, download your free copy of the book and start using it to make more money, because that's really where the rubber meets the road. Does the book actually pay off on its promise? And the answer is yes. So if nothing else, use the book and write me and tell me, hey, I got better click-through rates. I made more money. I sold more stuff. That I love getting those kind of messages.
Oh yeah. And on that note about smaller affiliates, one of the stories that many of you have probably heard before is, speaking of the best year ever, that Ray and I were involved, with Michael Hyatt, we were involved this past year. Ray finished third, I finished fourth. The previous year, I think I finished fifth and Ray finished sixth. So in other words, both times we're in the top six. And how that whole thing started for me, when I had, probably like nobody on my email list and like 7 Twitter followers, who knows what I had. And I had this random idea that I wanted to promote Michael's course. And I promoted it. And I remember saying, if I make $150 in commissions, that will be worth it. Like, I'll be excited. That basically would mean I'd have to sell 2. And long story short is the launch finished up. Now, they didn't have the affiliate center, at that time. They had nothing. It was just like you promoted it and then hoped you made some sales. And now they have an awesome affiliate center, just like Ray does. Anyway, at the end of the launch, I get this email, and it's Susie Barber, his executive assistant, and she asks me for my PayPal address. And I'm like, yes. Okay, I made something. 2-3 weeks goes by. No word. Checking my email, and it says, you have a deposit from PayPal. And I remember like sitting at I'm like I hover over the email. Like, I don't want to read this, because what if it's only, $30 and I'm going to be disappointed. And I open it up and it was $588. And I was like, I literally ran in, grabbed my wife, and it wasn't about the money. We made tons more money from our clients than that. But I ran in, grabbed my wife, like, look at the screen. I was more excited about that. We had gotten a check probably for 20 times that amount earlier that week. And I was more excited about that $588 PayPal deposit than I was for that check from a client, because it was something different. And I had done this. The following year, we 13x or 26x that. This past year, we 40x'd it. And so my point is, regardless of what size list you have, if it's 300 people, then sell like you've got 100,000 on there. Yeah. Don't be afraid to lose 10 people. It's not that big of a deal, but sell like you've got 100,000 and be confident in this book, and be confident in the course when that comes out, because this is good stuff. And if you get it in the hands of 30 people, then it's 30 people's whose lives are changed. You may not be able to change 100,000 people's lives, but you can change 20 or 30. Absolutely. Well said. So awesome. Seishu, real quick, last question, because Seishu just asked me on Twitter. And let's see. Don't see the download for the book. Wait for that login this afternoon. And when you get that login, it's on the About the Book page. If you want it sooner, because that will be a couple of hours, 2-3 hours from now, just email me, matt@rayedwards.com, and we'll get it to you right away. So awesome, guys. Thanks for joining us. If you have any questions, just reach out to me again, matt@rayedwards.com, and I will answer anything you guys have. Ray, thanks for being here today, man.
Thank you, man. Peace to your house.
See you guys.